Hey guys, this is James with RogueDuelist Trade, and on this channel we talk about current and upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh product and whether or not you should invest your money in order to profit. So if you guys are like me and you're recently getting into vending into Yu-Gi-Oh, then I'm sure many of you thought that a great investment would be the 2020 Megatins. And if you did make an investment into the 2020 Megatins, then I'm sure you have been keeping track with the price fluctuations that's been going on. If you couldn't tell already, the price dropped significantly. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions of people asking like, why has the price dropped so much? What's going on? And honestly, after following this very intensely for like the past couple of weeks, from Megatins coming to pre-orders coming up, to the official product release date in the OTS stores, to official product release date outside OTS stores, it actually makes a lot of sense why the Megatins have dropped so much. So in today's video, we're gonna go over the 4 main reasons that I feel that the card value in the Megatins dropped like Nibiru on a hero player. Now, first off, I want to acknowledge, I know a lot of you are in similar boats and some of you have invested a lot in the Megatins and may be seeing a pretty significant loss right now. Yu-Gi-Oh vending is extremely risky because sometimes you don't know how the market's going to respond. But guys, I can say in every mistake that we make, we need to be able to stop and look at why those mistakes happen so that we can be more experienced and have more wisdom going into future investments. So right now, I'm really looking at this as a learning experience. And as you guys know, I like to share my learning experiences with you so that we can all make better investments into Yu-Gi-Oh. Real quick, before we get into the 4 reasons why I feel the value dropped in the Megatins, I want to show you the reduction in value from pre-product release versus product release weekend, which is right now. And I feel that's gonna help paint a better picture for you guys as we get into the 4 main reasons why value dropped. So I pulled these initial numbers Wednesday afternoon prior to product release, and then these numbers right here, I pulled early this afternoon, which is Saturday, August 29th. So it's only been about 3.5 days between these numbers being pulled. Red Eye's Dark Dragoon has maintained the most value. Now this card did drop to like $29.99 at one point, and then it made a resurgence back, and there's actually not that many listed on TCG Player right now. But then looking at cards like Appaloosa, we know this card is getting a reprint in Maximum Gold as well in an alternate art, but this card dropped by 46%. Pot of Extravagance has maintained some good value. It's only dropped 17%. Borreload Savage Dragon dropped by 37%. IP Masquerena dropped by 50%. Starlight Safer went from a $13 card to a $2.99 card, dropped by 77%. Mech Knight Crusadia dropped by 72% from roughly $12 card to a $3 card. And then Mystic Mine, which is crazy. This is definitely a card to keep your eye on, guys, because I don't think it's gonna be hitting the ban list so soon. I don't think it's doing anything too crazy in the meta. It dropped by 62%. Its prismatic rare is cheaper than its super rare. Phantasme went from a roughly $7 card to a $3 card, and then it just continues. I mean, you guys can just kind of see down the list here. Now, one card that has actually gone up in value and has defeated the odds is World Legacy Guard Dragon. This card was upgraded to a prismatic rare and it's actually gone up by 37%. So taking on average from Red Eye's Dark Dragoon to World Legacy Guard Dragon, the average reduction in the high value cards was 57%. More than half of the value was stolen from the Megatins right after pre-orders into product release weekend. And that leads me to main reason number 1 why the value dropped in the Megatins is the ability to do pre-sales versus having to sell product during product release. Now, I'm sure many of you guys realized if you actually cracked open Megatins Thursday or before Thursday, you weren't able to post your cards on TCG Player. And that's assuming you guys are in North America. I know many of you guys use Card Market in the EU as well. So let me know down in the comments below how Card Market works pre-orders. TCG Player has some really strong restrictions where basically you have to have a physical storefront in order to do anything that's considered a pre-order, even though many people were getting Megatins from their OTS stores or wherever anytime before Friday, which was the official product release. So if you guys pulled product, you weren't able to get it up, which creates a large issue. And that is to the benefit of all of the larger vendors who actually have physical storefronts. So think about this. Megatins was one of the most widely open products in 2020 for Yu-Gi-Oh! So a lot of people were going to be getting it, but the only people that were able to put up product before the official product release date are vendors who actually have physical storefronts. So think about how many people are online vendors and do not have physical storefronts that are just holding their product and it's sitting dormant until Friday hits where they can finally put up their inventory. Do you guys realize there is probably a lot more online vendors than there are physical retail locations that sell products? So let's just throw out a number and say 10% of vendors have physical storefronts and are putting up their product. But you have another 90% of vendors that can't do anything until product release. So what do you guys think is going to happen when the other 90% is able to go and start flooding the market with their inventory as well? Prices will begin to plummet because there is going to be so much supply, demand can't keep up with it. Because think about it, everybody is shortcutting each other. When they post their product, they sell it for like 1 to 2 cents less than the last person. Everybody keeps doing that, and people aren't buying the product fast enough to keep up with the price just drastically dropping from everybody posting their inventory. So for products like the Megatins, if you don't have a physical storefront, it is just so risky unless you can somehow figure out a way to put up cards during what is considered the pre-order period. So I understand, I think you can do pre-orders through eBay not having a physical storefront. So that's definitely something I would consider in the future. But that leads us to our second main reason why prices drop, which is the supply met or exceeded the actual demand for product. What that means is all of the cards from the set that came out of the Megatins, there were so many out there in the marketplace that there was more than enough to meet the demand of actual Yu-Gi-Oh players actually trying to go and buy singles. Cards really can only maintain value depending on how much is actually in the marketplace and how many people are wanting that card and what they're willing to pay. So for example, there was like over 150 listings of Appaloosa at one point. And with there being so many listings, the price point is going to continue falling until it hits a point where more people are wanting to get Appaloosa, it meets their threshold of being willing to buy it. So once it finally hits that sweet spot, then people start scooping them up from the marketplace. And then eventually cards will begin to find their stasis, or maybe they'll start going up in value if the price is low enough. But because so many people opened up product, I mean, people that don't even probably consider themselves vendors in Yu-Gi-Oh! Were going and buying tons of tins, opening them up, and then selling anything that they probably don't want. So not only do you have all of the supply from the larger retailers that have brick and mortars, you also have all of the supply from all of the e-commerce vendors that are being able to get their inventory up. And then you have a large excess of people that don't even consider themselves vendors, but bought so many tins, they don't know what to do with all of the cards that they pulled. Reason number 3, in my opinion, that the value dropped in all of the cards in the Megatins is that the highest value cards were not necessarily short printed. I think at this point, it's not news to people that cards like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, Appaloosa, Pot of Extravagance, IP Masquerena, Borreload Savage Dragon, Phantasme, Starliege Safer, Mech Knight Avermax, all of these cards, they really weren't short printed in the product. So if cards aren't really short printed, and then you also have it opened in abundance, that is going to create an issue, because that just means for every case, there is probably 1 to 2 of each of those higher dollar cards that are now in the marketplace. And there have just been tons and tons of cases being cracked open. So with ratios really just kind of being in the favor of the buyer, it's not hard to get those cards. So because of that, the value starts to drop because there is such an overabundance of the cards in the marketplace. I mean, how many Appaloosas do people really need? I mean, if you can have an Appaloosa for every single Yu-Gi-Oh player, the value is gonna start dropping. Now, I'm not saying that's the case. That's what happens when you have so much product being open and cards aren't really short printed. Last main reason for this video, reason number 4, is that the reprints compete against themselves. Every single time you have reprints, they're going to be competing with whatever their previous print was. Because if you want an IP Masquerena, you might not be somebody that cares if it's the prismatic or the ultra rare. You just want to get whichever one is cheaper. And in addition to that, the benchmark for any card that's reprinted is always its previous print. So it should almost never exceed whatever the previous print was at. If anything, it's going to be largely reduced considering what the original print was. Even in most cases, if it gets a rarity upgrade, it might match what the previous print was, but it's very rare that it'll just suddenly take first position over its predecessor. When you have a product that is primarily reprints, while the only card that was not a reprint that people actually cared about was Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, then it kind of spells disaster, because the only card that really has the best opportunity to maintain value is Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, while everything else, because not only is the Megatins prints of IP Masquerena, Apollosa, Pot of Extravagance in the marketplace, all of their predecessors are also in the marketplace, which almost makes it to where each particular card that was reprinted almost has double the amount that it would normally have when you look at cards like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, if you want that card, you can only get it from the 2020 Megatins right now. While IP Masquerena, you can go get the one from Chaos Impact, or you can go get the one that came out of the Megatins. That stretches the value of a card the more that you reprint it, up until the point, because if you look at cards like Phantasme, it's like the Mighty Has Fallen. A card was like hitting $100 at one point, and now the card's sitting at $2.99 because now it's had its third reprint and it's so easy to get. Now it's a super rare. You know, that's the one tough thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! As a TCG, is just the amount of reprints really does kill value over time depending on the card. But a lot of these cards are so good, like Warlord Savage Dragon, even Pot of Extravagance, that they do maintain a level of value. But that is only gonna last so long if they keep getting reprints. So guys, in summary, I think if you have a product that is primarily reprints, and it's a product that people are going crazy over and are buying in the droves in cases, it really does spell disaster, because you're gonna have so much of that set in the marketplace in addition to all of their reprints, that unless you are a brick and mortar location and you are able to get product early and do pre-orders, that is the time to capitalize, because in that time, margins on the Megatins was like 40%. If you were able to sell before Thursday of this past week, before official product release, you were making out like a bandit on all of the cards that you were able to pull out of the Megatins. Or if you were just selling tin by tin, so many people were wanting the tins. So I would say this, if you are an online vendor, I highly recommend, once we hit the 2021 Megatins, as soon as you get confirmation that your cases are coming, go on eBay and just sell the tins, or open up the tins and sell the mega packs. That is the only real way that I can see an online vendor making decent money from the Megatins, is going that route. We are put at a disadvantage. We basically get the scraps from the larger brick and mortar vendors because they are able to get ahead of the game, and good on them. You know, that's awesome that they can do that, but it definitely puts you at a disadvantage. So products like this is something I will not invest into unless I'm going to sell it sealed or unopened packs. All right, guys, so that's the end of my rant. I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below. Is there anything you think I missed? Do you disagree with me? Respectfully, please let me know. I would be happy to hear your perspective. This one was definitely a bit of a disappointment. But guys, for the Patreon, September is coming upon us. We are planning to open up a lot more slots for the level 3 and possibly level 5 and 6 patrons. Now, if we do open up level 5 and 6, it is going to be very limited because we need the figure capacity of how much we're actually going to be able to handle, but we should be opening up a significant amount of level 3 spots. I think right now we're sitting at about 18 spots that are filled. I can't tell you guys what those numbers are yet, but definitely keep an eye out. If you guys want to know when spots open up, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I'll provide you guys updates there. Also, I will provide updates to current patrons first. So all of my level 3 and under Patreons currently, I will be letting them know first whenever spots open, because they've already decided to make an investment into the channel, and I appreciate that. So I'm definitely gonna give them first priority. Also, another way that you guys can get updates is if you subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'll be able to update you guys through the YouTube community tab. And in addition to that, you'll be able to get access to great Yu-Gi-Oh! Investment content here on YouTube. So if you guys are seeing this video and it's Sunday, that means that my shipment of the 2020 Megatins are late and I have not gotten them yet. So we'll see if I actually do the case opening if you guys are seeing this and I haven't posted my case opening yet. Because if I don't get it today, it means I'm gonna get it Monday, and I don't know if prices are gonna continue dropping. And if they do, I might just bite the bullet and just sell the sealed packs. Anyways, guys, thank you for stopping by. If you guys wanna support the channel, like this video. That'll help the YouTube algorithm to help people find this channel. Thank you guys again for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.